Hello, and welcome to Talking Schmidt. I'm your host, Eric Schmidt.
Hello, I'm Greg Burmeister.
And it's our first audio-only episode in a while.
We're not facing the same way.
Yeah, I feel weird. I feel like there is a camera here, but there's not one. It's just you and me.
Yeah,
we're sitting here.
We don't have to look anywhere.
No,
we don't close our eyes.
Yeah, we could. I mean, we are looking at each other as we talk because that feels like the normal thing to do. But this is it feels a little weird first time doing this. Although this is how we used to do it.
Yeah, for like 2 years.
For like 2 years, we did it just like this.
Yeah,
and then we started filming, and then we were like, let's not film anymore. Which I think, although it was funny, the last one we did was our most viewed. We finally reached like a mountaintop of views, and we're like, nah, we're not going to do that anymore. No more. We will still put it on there, by the way. We will still put it on the YouTube if that's where you prefer to. Look at. We'll put a picture of us, I guess.
Yeah,
but
some kind of. Yeah, I don't know. Still image.
Yeah, we'll do a still image. Greg, it's been a while. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, likewise.
Thank you. What have you been up to? I think I saw on the Instagram, which you can follow Greg at Greg Hello on Instagram.
Hello.
Yeah. I think you went to I don't know why I'm like, because we're not filming it, I'm talking softer. I'm doing
don't want the neighbors to hear.
I don't know. I'm doing like a weird radio. This feels more radio than television. So anyway, you went to a rock show. And I'm saying that soft too. You went to a rock show.
It was a very quiet rock show. One
Quiet
of those
riot?
candlelight concerts.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
No, who'd you see? It wasn't that. It was obviously a rock show, right?
Yeah, it was
big,
a loud, aggressive rock show. It was this local band called Mother Feather.
Mother Feather.
Yeah,
okay.
I used to go see them pretty regularly back like 10 years ago. And kind of forgot they existed.
Well, I'm sure they'll be sad to hear that.
Yeah.
But they'll be happy that you went to their show.
Yeah, true. And my buddy texted me and said he had an extra ticket and it was a sold out show. Oh. So I was like, sure. And I think it might have been their last show ever.
What?
Yeah,
wow.
They did like they have two lead singers and one of them did this long speech towards the end and was just like, thanks for supporting us all these years. We hate to say goodbye. And the other one was tearing up. And I was like, what's happening?
Maybe they were just on like acid.
Yeah, I hope so.
Maybe they're just on some emotional drugs.
It got real weird for a minute. And then so the funny part was, the next
I thought that was a pretty funny part.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So the next day I get this DM on Instagram and it was from this older woman.
Okay.
And she was like, "Hi, Greg. Not sure if you remember me, but I stomped on your foot last night at the Mother Feather show and I just wanted to say I'm so sorry."
Wow. Okay.
I was like, thanks.
Yeah. How older are we talking?
I would say like maybe mid to late 50s.
Wow. Okay.
Like definitely older than me.
Okay.
And,
right. I hope you're right, by the way. I hope she's not just like 40 and just really mad.
and now she follows me on Instagram.
Oh, no.
I hope she doesn't watch this or listen to
yeah,
this.
Right.
This could get a bit awkward.
Yeah. I'm 37, you prick.
Yeah, I'm younger than you. I mean, she could be. I don't know. But,
wait, how did she find you?
Oh, so I posted a video from the show and the band shared it. Oh, so I'm assuming she watched their stories.
And she's like, that's that guy I stomped on.
Yeah.
Do you remember that happening?
I do. Like after she said that, I did remember it. I looked at her Instagram profile. I was like, oh yeah, that was the lady that was like standing next to me most of the time. And I mean, it was a sold out show, so it was like everyone was crammed in there and like jumping around and bumping into each other. So I didn't think anything of it. I was just like, it's a rock show. I'm going to get some elbows. People are going to step on my feet. That's what happens.
These kind of things happen at rock shows. Yeah. And if anything, you prefer it be a 60-year-old woman that steps on your foot because, less likely to hurt as bad than like the bigger fellow with the steel-toed boots.
Yes, exactly.
You want a little elderly woman. That's what you want.
with nice soft shoes. Some flats.
Yeah. I'm not sure what show she was intending to go to, but
I mean, she was going pretty wild most of the show.
She was in the pit?
Yeah, she was into it.
Wow, okay,
but
good for her.
Yeah, I thought it was funny that the next day she found me on Instagram and apologized for stepping on my foot.
not often you get to do that, so
No.
that's actually a nice story. Unless she's mad at us for talking about how old. I feel like we really focused on how old this woman is, and we should probably. I don't know why. That's probably my fault. And it's been a while since we recorded. I'm not used to talking to people. This is the only time I talk to to people.
Yeah,
is
same.
when I come over here and talk to you for a little bit.
I just sit right here like 99% of my life.
Well, that's we're just joking, by the way. Yeah. So I actually I have a day job. Mm-hmm. Where I talk to people. I'm a tutor.
Yeah.
And I'm shocked they let me near children, but they do.
Shaping America's youth.
Yeah.
For tomorrow.
It's wild. It's wild. And so this recently I was talking to one of the kids that I tutor, and we were talking about here's what happened. She brought up Trump. She was just like, I don't like that guy. And I was like, all right, yeah, sure. Me neither. And then she was like, she's like, he took our cell phones away. And I was
like he personally came.
Yeah. And then I was like, all right, now I'm interested. What? That's an original one. You don't really, I've never heard, usually people are like, he's militarized ICE and they're like harassing people, or, the food's still expensive. These are the common complaints.
Eggs are $12.
Yeah. These are the common complaints you hear about Donald Trump. But like this kid was like, he took our cell phones away. And I was like, what do you mean? And she was like, we're not allowed to have cell phones in the schools anymore. And she's like, she's probably like 12, 13 years old.
Yeah, I've seen that. They do the thing that they do at Jack White concerts. They
or
put
Dave
them in the
Chappelle
little
stand-up shows. Yeah. So I was like, he didn't do that. Actually, I got to defend the guy on this one. That was the governor, and she was like, "What's a governor?" And I was like, "That's like the president, but of just like the state."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, okay. Who is that?" And I was like, "It's this woman named Kathy Hochul."
Yeah.
And she was like, "Well, then
she took
our
phones.
She took.
Somebody's taking our phones."
Yeah. So I was like,
"Tell me where to point the finger."
Well, yeah, so I did. I was like, all right, let's do some civics. Let's learn about civics a little bit here. So I was like, all right. And she was like, what's civics? And I was like, actually, I don't really know. So
it's the name of some high school class.
So I was like,
we'll get there.
Yeah. So I was like, all right, well, we can, here's what you can do. You can write like a letter, or you can call and leave a message at the governor's office, and maybe one of her people that work for her, or maybe even she herself might hear your message, your argument about why you think phones should be allowed in the schools. So I was like, so what is your argument? Like, what's your reasoning that you think that it should be allowed?
Yeah, if you're going to complain, you need to,
let's hear
to back it up with
let's
something.
And she goes, I'm innocent. And I'm like,
this is not a court of law.
Yeah, that's not a good argument. Like, you can't just write the governor like, I'm innocent. Like, what? So I was like, all right, you need to come up with something a little better than that. Like, what? Like maybe you feel like you need to have your phone in case of an emergency.
Yeah,
she was like
that's a valid thing.
And she was like, yeah, that's good. She was like, yeah, like if there's a bad storm all of a sudden that was unexpected. I'm like, yeah, or like a terrorist attack like happened on 9/11.
Yeah.
And she goes, what's 9/11?
Oh, here we go.
And that's when I was like, oh no, I accidentally told a kid. Could you imagine finding out about 9/11 from me? Like
24 years later.
Yeah. And then she's like, can you show me what 9/11? Well, I was like, well, I kind of explained it to her. I was like, well, it was a terrorist attack, and it happened in New York City, where we are.
Yeah, just a couple miles from here.
Yeah. And like some guys destroyed some buildings. They flew some planes into some buildings. And she was like, who? And I was like, I'm not getting into all that. Like, these are bad guys,
Yeah. They were not innocent.
Yeah, they were not innocent. And then she was like, well, they need to catch them. And I was like, they are dead. Like, that's what happens when you fly a plane into a building. You don't typically survive that crime.
They didn't bail with parachutes.
So I was like, all right, so I kind of explained it to her. And then she was like, I think something clicked in her head. She was like, oh, maybe have heard about this. I kind of know about this. She was like, can you show me the video? And I was like, absolutely not. Like, could you imagine my boss looks over and I'm just showing this kid fucking 9/11.
Parents are just like,
fucking 9/11.
what is this man teaching my kids?
And it was an inside job. Bush did it.
Just getting all these deep cut conspiracies.
I'm teaching this kid 2003 college like politics shit. So,
and then Building 7 in the Pentagon.
so yeah, she was like, can you show me? I was like, no. And I was like, let's move on. And then we were reading another story, and it had the word it had Israel was in it, and she was like, what is this word? And I was like, oh Jesus, why am I'm teaching you about everything? God damn it. And then I was like, that's a country in the Middle East. And she was like, oh, okay. I was like, she was like, it's kind of familiar though. And I was like, yeah. I probably shouldn't have said it. But I was like, you may have heard about it like in the Bible, which like, I don't know why I'm touching on religion now. Yeah. But then she's like, oh yeah, maybe. And I'm like, I was like, do you know what religions are? And she was like, kind of. And I was like, well, what religion are you?
Yeah.
And
do you go to church or?
Well, yeah. I was like, well, do you know what religion you are? And she goes, I'm African American. I was like,
not quite.
I was like, close, man. Well, yeah. But then I was like, all right. I was like, okay, who's the main guy in the Bible? And she was like, Jesus. And I was like, yes. Okay, so
there
people who really like him are what? And she goes, good. And I was like, yeah, some of them.
Technically correct. Yeah.
And then I was like, can you, I was like, can we name some other, I was like, have you ever heard of Jewish people? And she was like, yeah. And I was like, she was like, I know some. And I was like, great. I was like, so they're like, that's like Israel is kind of like what they're into. Is that where they're from? I don't know. I'm trying to avoid controversy both with her and with this podcast episode. But anyway, so I was like, yeah, so that's who you would associate with like that country.
Yeah.
And then I was like, have you heard of Muslims? And she goes, yes. And I was like, well, that's another one. Those are like the big three religions, you know. Yep. And then I decided not to explain. I decided not to link that to the 9/11.
Yeah, good call.
So like, we'll just leave those two things separate. So yeah, tutoring's going great.
Just didn't cover any of the curriculum you're actually.
No, none at all. We just talked about everything you're really not supposed to talk about at tutoring. All right, Greg, you have a review of a show you've been watching.
Yeah, I'm only a few episodes in, but I started watching the new Monster series. So Ryan Murphy does these.
Oh yeah.
It's the third one, and I've watched the previous two.
Okay.
Which were Jeffrey Dahmer and the Menendez brothers.
Yeah.
Okay. And so now the new one is about Ed Gein.
And is that a serial killer?
They didn't quite label him a serial killer because
just a regular killer.
Yeah, as far as they know, he only killed 2 people.
Okay.
But he was the inspiration for a lot of pop culture things like Norman Bates from Psycho.
Oh, okay.
So
he was a while ago.
Yeah. This was back in like probably the 40s, okay. I believe. Like I think he was born in 1905 or 6 and died in 1980. So this was the middle of his life.
Okay.
But also Leatherface from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. That was based on him.
This sounds like a prolific murderer. You're telling me this is not a serial killer?
Yeah, he didn't actually kill that many people, but he was a prolific grave robber.
Oh.
So he confessed to going to different graves in Wisconsin, like I think 60 times or something, and he would dig up women's bodies who were recently deceased and try to like recreate, like bring back his mom. So his mom died. He was weirdly obsessed with his mom, like Norman Bates.
Yeah.
Which was based off of him.
Yeah.
And so he would like dig up women's bodies and use different parts of them to like recreate her, and also did the classic lampshades made out of skin, and also like
classic,
like Silence of the Lambs, that was inspired by him too.
Wow.
And so and he would like wear faces, like dead people's faces
Like in
over
Cable Guy.
his. Yeah. Probably also inspired by him. But like I'm pretty into the story of this show because I know a lot about Ed Gein, but Charlie Hunnam plays him, and I can't get past his accent.
What is he?
He came up with this weird original accent that he thought would work. Like, it's not based on Ed Gein's real voice at all. And it's just, it's like very high pitched and innocent sounding. He's like, "Hello, mother."
They must have like some recordings of the real Ed Gein talking.
Yeah,
right?
and I've actually listened to him, and
just nothing like that.
No, he sounds
like a normal
pretty,
Wisconsin. He has a Wisconsin accent, I would imagine.
A little bit. No, the recordings are like really bad quality because they're so old.
Not like this. Not like how we're talking and how you, the listener, are hearing us.
Exactly. Yeah, very different. But yeah, his accent is just so bizarre. He's just like, "Nah,
just decided to do a weird little voice."
Yeah, like it just doesn't make sense.
He's doing like
and
Muppet
it's bizarre.
talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
It doesn't look like the voice that would come out of that man. Like, it's,
that too. Yeah.
Yeah. And so like every time he opens his mouth, I'm just like, "Oh, this is so ridiculous."
Oh, well,
But-
okay. So,
So yeah, I'm torn because his voice just bothers me, but I
how
like
many
the
episodes
story.
are you
a lot.
in?
I've only finished the first 3.
Okay,
and they're like 50 minutes, so like almost 3 hours I've watched of it.
Right, but how many episodes are there?
I believe there are 10.
Okay,
So
you got a ways to
got
go.
a ways to go, but it's I don't know. I'm
It's an odd character choice for an actor to make.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Dave, have you looked up any interviews as to why he may have done this? Are there any other complaints on the internet? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, a lot of people are
okay.
talking about it. Like, as soon as I Googled it, it was everywhere. Everyone on the internet is like, "What is happening with his voice?" And apparently he just, I watched an interview with him and he was like, "Yeah, I thought it was appropriate for like how obsessed with his mom is. He always wants to please his mom, so he kind of talks like a child, but I don't know."
Is there any reason to suspect that that's how Ed Gein might have spoken in private?
Possibly.
Like, because, if he was an odd person, an odd duck, if you will, like, wouldn't it be possible that, like, when he was in private or when he was talking to his mother or talking, like, in character to dead bodies, like, he might have used an odd voice? I mean, I guess, did the actor, who's the actor again?
Charlie Hunnam.
I don't know if I know who that is.
I think he's in Sons of Anarchy. Okay. One of those guys.
Did he suggest? Was he like, "Oh no, I read that he did this," or there's actually
the interview
that he did this?
Yeah, the interview I saw didn't mention anything like that.
He just said, "I just chose to do this."
Yeah, he was just like, I thought this type of voice would be fitting.
Okay.
Like, I don't know.
You thought wrong, dog.
I don't know why the like producers and director were like cool with it.
Is that? I mean, I saw Psycho somewhat recently.
Yeah, I actually rewatched it a few months ago.
I don't remember him doing an odd little high voice.
And I also watched the entire Bates Motel series just a couple months ago too, and like, no, I mean, I guess he kind of does, and he's got that little like, "Hello, mother," like that accent, but not as high pitched and weird.
And I we shouldn't like put a spoiler because there's a pretty significant spoiler about Psycho, obviously.
Yeah.
I guess you could. I mean, I'm not going to say what the spoiler is, but like, I guess you could see where maybe like. Well, now I am kind of saying what the
when
spoiler.
He's doing.
Yeah, right.
Something.
To avoid spoilers, we're just going to stop talking.
Yeah. Let's just move on.
We're moving on. I went and saw a movie, Greg.
What'd you see?
I went and saw one battle after another.
Yeah. I still haven't seen it.
I think you should. I thought it was really, really good. I gave it 5 stars on Letterboxd. You can follow me there if you're listening. And yeah, I just thought it was really good. I thought Leonardo DiCaprio did a great job. I thought Sean Penn, he really nailed the way like the type of person he was playing walks. I was quite impressed by that. I would say try to not find anything out about the movie, like plot wise or what it's about if you're gonna go see it, because you might have some thoughts about the subject matter going in. There's a certain part of the American public that is pre-offended by it. without
gotcha.
seeing it. And all I can say with regard to that is, it is not what you're expecting. That what you're expecting is actually just kind of the backdrop of the movie. That, as far as I didn't leave the movie being like, oh, I got preached to, or oh, I'm offended, or it was just like, oh, okay, that was just like what was going on. But like the movie's about something completely, like something else.
Yeah, that's not
just
the plot of the movie.
No,
Gotcha.
not at all. Like that's just what's going on. That's
Gotcha.
it. Yeah, and it's I went into it expecting something and got something completely different. So I mean, I think if you're just an open-minded moviegoer, I don't think you'll be offended by this movie, even if you find yourself more on Sean Penn's character's side of things. But anyway, yeah, I thought it was really good, so highly recommend that. I give it 5 buckets of popcorn or whatever
very good.
Whatever our rating
The
system
top
is.
rating.
Speaking of action, because there's a lot of action in that movie, there was some real life action in the news recently, Greg.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, there was a heist. I just heard a little bit about it, but I know you kind of have done a deep dive on it.
yeah. I've been following it because I love heist movies.
Okay.
they're
Fish
some of
Called
my
Wanda.
favorite.
Don't they
Yeah.
rob? What do they? It's been so long since I've seen Fish Called Wanda. Do they rob the Louvre? The
Oh, I don't
Louvre?
know, because that's what just got robbed.
Right. Yeah. So tell what happened.
Yeah, so these guys, like they pulled up a truck, one of the, like with a lift on, basically like a
Like the Arrested Development
ladder. Oh, the banana.
No. The like airplane stair car.
Oh yeah. They use something like that to get up to the second floor of the Louvre on the side. And then they use this like metal cutter, like power blade thing.
Power blade.
Power blade.
Hell yeah, dog.
Yeah. And they like opened up a window with that, snuck in. They were only in the Louvre for 4 minutes.
Wow.
And they stole over $100 million worth of jewelry.
Why the hell do they have $100 million worth of jewelry in a museum?
I have no
That
idea.
seems like an odd, like, yeah, that seems kind of strange. Like, it seems like an obvious thing that might happen if you are keeping that kind of
Yeah.
thing, you know?
And also, like, I see a lot of movies about people trying to rob museums, banks, whatever, and they always have to, like, the security is always the best in the world, and they got to find some elaborate way to get past all these, through these safes, and
Yeah.
there are things where 2 people have to turn different keys.
Right. Yeah.
And
Like Mission Impossible.
Yeah, exactly. And so somehow these guys were only in there for 4 minutes, got away with $100 million worth of like jewels and diamonds. They got out, took off on scooters, and they still haven't been caught.
Wow.
And
I
I
mean,
was like, damn, I would watch that movie.
I would say those guys have gotten away with it. They haven't caught them yet.
It's been more than 48 hours.
That's so interesting. Like, who owns those diamonds?
Yeah.
Like or were they just like?
Oh, they were. So I think most of them were from like centuries ago. Like there was a queen's crown from like a really old queen that was just like full of diamonds.
It just seems kind of crazy to keep that all in one place.
Yeah.
And like why?
And the fact that it was accessible at all, like wouldn't you think it'd be behind like
that's kind of my least
foot of bulletproof glass with like
that's kind of my least favorite like type of museum too, which is just like look how rich people were.
Yeah,
it's like who
I mean
gives
that's
a
basically
shit?
all it is.
Yeah, like I don't care, and also like you're crazy for keeping this here. Like someone's gonna come steal this.
Exactly.
But yeah, I think those guys. Okay, so they just basically stole some stuff that had once belonged to like a king or a queen, and now is just theirs, I guess.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Do you think they'll catch him?
I don't know. Like the only security footage that I saw was this grainy video of the backside of one of them. They were all dressed like construction workers. They had like so that they actually stood out because they had like these reflective green vests on. But like green and orange.
Yeah, they must have ditched him somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, don't they have like isn't it similar to New York in that there's probably a ton of cameras all over the place? Like, I mean, I imagine they could have like tracked them pretty well
like
throughout
their
the
scooter
city.
movement.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think.
That's crazy timing for a scooter to drive by. I don't know if the mics picked that up, but that was wild. It's them.
Oh, maybe the French police just aren't very good at their jobs.
No, they're probably like our police.
Yeah.
Speaking of, there's a mayor's race coming up, Greg. I don't know if you knew about this.
Yes.
I've been paying attention to the news a little bit here. There's a guy named Andrew Cuomo. You may remember him. He was the governor of the state for a while, and then he had to retire, or not retire. He had to resign, and it wasn't good because he was like grabbing women or something.
Yeah,
which you're not supposed to
like
do.
13 people.
Well, let me tell you this. This is how widespread his sexual harassment is. I know someone that he sexually harassed, and they're not one of the public ones.
So that just proves
Yeah.
there are a lot more than we know about.
Yeah, I think I think 20% of voters aren't going to vote for Cuomo because they were sexually harassed by Cuomo.
Personally.
Yeah. And then I think the other 20% aren't going to vote for, because they know the person.
So right there, that's 40%.
40% gone.
Yeah, when you count the friends of friends.
Yeah. He's not getting much
buddy.
of the vote. Yeah. So there's him. He's running as an independent because he lost the Democratic primary to a fellow by the name of Zohran Mamdani.
Yeah.
Now I really dig this dude.
The young boy.
He's young. He's 34 years
Yeah.
old, or maybe 35 now. He had a birthday. I
think
forget
he's
how old.
33.
Okay, so he was 33. Now he's 34.
Oh,
He
okay.
had a birthday
Gotcha.
on Saturday.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so he's a young fella. He's got some ambitious goals, some new ideas. None of the status quo stuff you'd get with your usual candidates for office. Now there's this other guy. Curtis Sliwa. Have you heard of him?
Yeah, I
Okay.
like his little hat.
Yeah, he's a hat guy. He wears a red hat, and not the red hat you'd normally associate with Republicans. No, he's got a red beret.
Beret.
Yeah, he's fancy. He's one of those New York types, you know, not just like a baseball cap with writing on it. But anyway, he was in charge of this thing called the Guardian Angels back in the late 70s and early 80s, and he's an interesting cat. He lives on my street too, which is crazy.
Whoa, that's nuts.
Yeah, he's the only sign for him that I see is in his window. So he's got some confidence about himself.
He's good at self-promotion.
Now, I don't like him that much. I don't agree with him on a lot of things, but I do think he's authentic. I think he's genuine, and I think he has some heartfelt opinions that I feel like a lot of people share, and good for him and good for people that like that kind of thing. But it's not for me. But like I have a little bit of respect for him.
You don't despise.
No,
the guy.
not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all. And he seems like he seems like a very nice guy.
Yeah.
And he's quite entertaining.
Yeah. Oh, I watched the debate the other day.
You did?
Yeah, he was my favorite one in that debate because Cuomo and Zohran were both just like they were like children, just name calling and like talking about things the other one tweeted 10 years ago.
Right, yeah.
And then Curtis was just there like, this is how I'm going to fix the city.
Okay. Yeah. An interesting guy.
He wasn't just like bashing the other one constantly.
Well, I remember there was a clip I heard where where Zohran agreed with him because he did make fun of Andrew Cuomo for losing his own primary, and Zohran was
that was pretty funny.
I'm with him on that one.
Yep.
So that's coming up. That election may happen before we record our next episode. So just wanted to get some
it's coming up quick.
preliminary things. It seems like Zohran, he's like over 10 points ahead, I think, in the polls. And people keep trying to pressure Curtis Sliwa into dropping out, which is kind of odd because he's actually like his party's nominee.
Yeah,
he's not running
not
like
Cuomo.
Yeah, they're recommending an independent or an independent recommending a guy who has his party to drop out seems kind of crazy to me. But yeah, it also seems like very coordinated with like Trump, which is nuts. That Trump and Cuomo would be working together because you would think they might be not as friendly as they apparently are. Yeah. So yeah, it's some crooked, some interesting stuff going on. Mm-hmm. I went to the march on Saturday, the No Kings March, which I looked it up. We didn't succeed. Trump is still president.
Yep.
So
usually how those things go.
We'll try harder next time. That's the plan. But no, it had 7 million people, and I looked up what percentage of the populace that is, and I forget what I found out, but it doesn't matter because it wasn't 3.5%, which is what you got to have. You got to have 3.5% of the U.S. population would be like 12 or 13 million people, I think. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So it's only half, which sounds bad.
Yeah.
But also it's
a lot of people.
It's a lot of damn people.
It's a lot of people.
Yeah. So and also I know people who didn't march because they were they're U.S. citizens, but they were born in other countries.
Yeah.
So you probably had a lot of people who felt that way.
Yep.
I know some white people who were born in other countries.
Yeah.
But
didn't want to risk it.
But are U.S. citizens, but still are just like, man, I don't need to get fucking
not
arrested.
worth it.
I don't need to get arrested
No.
by ICE for this shit. So yeah, it's troubling times, but I feel good about the amount of people that were out there, and I'm sure you saw no arrests in New York. There was 100,000 people just in the Times Square march.
Ooh, it doesn't sound like
they
a
weren't
place
all in
I would
Times Square. No, sorry.
Sounds like New Year's.
Yeah. No, it was. Well, actually, I wonder what the numbers are. I wonder what the comparison.
Yeah,
there is.
I don't know.
But so it was good. It was a good time and well attended, I think. So if that's your kind of thing, go for it. I enjoyed it, and yeah. So another interesting thing going on in the city, as you know, Greg, mm-hmm. I'm on the community board for my neighborhood.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. Well, most of the time it's not interesting, but what's happening is there's this church in my neighborhood that everyone's all up in arms about. They want some people, a small selection of people, want to tear down the church and build a big condominium building in its place.
That's the last thing we need more of.
Yeah, right. So there's them, and then there's people who are like, no, we got to save the church. Now, the congregation of the church wants to sell the church because it is in bad shape. But it's old. It's 150 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So now they want to sell it because they'll get a bunch of money.
Yeah. That's fair.
And then the people want to buy it because they're going to build it. They're going to build that big building, and they're going to make a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Right?
A lot of people are going to make a lot of money.
Yeah. So, but all of the cities, or all the city elected officials that are involved in this, like the local, just neighborhood elected officials, and then outward to all the way to, I don't think the mayor has weighed in on it, but some people in his administration have, and they all want to keep the church, which I was kind of surprised by. I thought money might dictate that some of them.
Yeah, it's usually how it goes.
Yeah, that's what I would have thought. So, but anyway, quite inspired by that because I think. Obviously I feel bad for the people who own the church and would like to sell it instead of having to, pay to upkeep it. That seems like it's not a good situation. But one of the arguments I read from our city council person was that they kind of allowed it to get shitty so that there would be this sort of public, they should be allowed to sell it because it's so shitty. But it's it's a self-fulfilling thing here. So, yeah, I also just even if, let's say they qualify for what they're going for, which is what they're going for is they want what's called a hardship, which will let you out of it being a landmark. So you can, because it's a protected landmark.
Oh, okay.
So
gotcha.
if you get this hardship, that means that someone else can buy, you can sell it and it can be torn down.
Yeah.
And it forgives everything, basically. But but I just can't. And I'm like one of the people who votes on the committee for it. And I'm just like, I can't vote to let a church get torn down. I'm not religious at all.
But just the principle.
But I'm just like, I'm like, that's...
And to build more of these ridiculous condos that cost like $8,000 a month for a studio apartment.
If it was a significant amount of like affordable housing, maybe.
Yeah.
But like, it's such cool architecture. It's such a beautiful building. And you know, even though it's like falling apart, they still do a lot of events out of there. There is a different church that does services out of there for on every Sunday. So it is able to be used. I mean, it's not like a condemned.
It's functional.
It's not a condemned building by any stretch. Yeah. So I'm just like, but man, we had like a board meeting essentially, and where people came and like testified to us.
That's hilarious.
And it was my first committee meeting. So I'm just like sitting there, and there's these guys, you know, in suits, like telling me their plans for this shit, and other people being like, I love it, don't take it away. And they're just looking at me, and I'm like, man, why am I what? Like, they're probably looking at me thinking, why is that guy the guy? Why is that one of the guys that I got to talk to about this? He doesn't even have his shirt tucked in. Like, what is happening?
I want to go to one of these. And just sit in the back.
Dude, come to the one on the 29th. It's going to be nuts.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah, and if you're a listener in my neighborhood on the Upper West Side, and you know about this church, it's called West Park Presbyterian. Is the name of the church. It's on 86th and Amsterdam. And yeah, man, it's a whole thing. People give a big shit about that fucking building, man. Like, it's you know, it is a really cool old building. Like I said, it's like 150 years old, and it's just really, it has these like red bricks. It's a cool looking church, man.
Yeah.
So I would hate to see it not there.
Yeah,
I really would. Like,
I hope they keep it.
Yeah, especially to replace it with something like that.
Yeah. That's whack.
I don't think so. But yeah, so what else we got, Greg? We got Live Snakes coming up November 6th.
Yeah.
You're
2 weeks.
You're playing the guitar on that one.
Yep.
And then you and I know this is far down the road, but you and I are on the you and I are both going to be playing music on the anniversary one in February
2026.
Very exciting. Mm-hmm. So come out and see us. I'll be hosting trivia at Barcelona Bar once in November and once in December, too.
Hey, how about that?
I'll get those specific dates out as we get closer to them. Do you have any of your is your band playing anything coming up that we can?
It's hard to say. We were supposed to have a show on November 5th, and that got canceled for some, I don't even know, like I guess the promoter of the venue we're supposed to play at is just a terrible person.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll get some guys together and
we'll round up the boys.
Yeah, we'll mess with him.
And so now
I shouldn't probably make an actual threat. I realized as I was talking, you know, I'm like, don't just start threatening people on the podcast. Already teaching kids about 9/11, you know. It's not good.
But so right now we have a tentative first show on not till November 29th.
Okay.
But now that guy is like ghosting my guitarist and like won't get back to us, even though he said like, yeah, sounds good. And then we just like didn't hear anything else. And I don't know what's going on with these venue.
If you own a venue,
guys,
and you're one of these guys, we're mad.
Stop doing that.
Quit. Knock it off.
Yeah. Just let us play a show.
All right. Well, that's going to do us for here on Talking Schmidt. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time. Talking Schmidt is recorded at Burmeister Studios in
Astoria, Queens.
Opening music is by Greg Burmeister. Closing music is by
Greg Burmeister.
Our intern is Jason Travis. If you like what you've heard, please like, follow, and write a review for us wherever you listen to podcasts. If you didn't like it, please keep listening to it, but keep your opinions to yourself. If you really liked it, You can find bonus episodes over on our Talking Schmidt Patreon page. Membership is just $5 per month, and it goes a long way to buy us the equipment and bourbon we need. Thanks in advance, and hope you're doing great.